Hey, welcome back to the Victors Podcast. I'm Jeremy Brown, and today I'll be discussing and breaking down the Wolverines' defensive roster and news related to the defense. So, this offseason, Coach Harbaugh brought in two new defensive coaches to help condition and train, but the main reason was to help Don Brown figure out OSU and set up new schemes against high-powered offenses. So, we all know what Don Brown has done against OSU in the past 2 years. Basically, absolutely nothing. But let's just run through the past 4 years against OSU and to just break down what Michigan's defense could do. So, in 2016 against OSU, Michigan's defense was solid, with Ohio State only converting on 3 of 16 third downs, having 330 total yards, 30 points, and Michigan had an interception. That was Jabril Peppers. In 2017, Don Brown's defense, led by Rashawn Gary, Chase Winovich, David Long, Brendan Watson, and Tyree Kinnell, held OSU to 31 points, 8 of 16 on third downs, and 350 total yards. Which isn't necessarily the worst offensive production, but I think it's a pretty good defensive stand. And then again, especially against Ohio State, in both of these games, mediocre to terrible quarterback play and bad offense lost Michigan those games. So it wasn't entirely the defense. But then flash forward to 2018, when disaster happened, ranked number 4th in the country, and a win in Big Ten championship game away from the college football playoff. OSU compiled 62 points, 567 yards through a completely overwhelming passing attack. This happened against the supposed number 1 defense in America, which is a common thing with Michigan and its defense being overranked, and then when they lose these huge games by so many points, they're questioned, and I'm like, are you serious? This happens all the time. I don't get why people don't understand how we're overranked defensively. Like, Paul Feinbaum will be like, how did this happen? They're the number 1 defense in the country. Michigan sucks. Like, dude, this happens all the time, okay? Michigan has a certain standard where if the team is up to a certain talent limit, they'll just destroy them. But if they're above it, then their wide receivers and their QB will just throw all over their defense, and if the running back is like, let's say like J.K. Dobbins, he'll just run all over him. That's what happens a lot in Michigan in the past few years under Harbaugh and Don Brown. Okay? So in that game, the reason was crossing routes, bad adjustments on defense, a tired secondary, and game-losing executions such as the blocked punt for a touchdown. In 2019, Justin Fields and J.K. Dobbins dominated against Michigan. Fields had 302 passing yards and 4 touchdowns, while Dobbins ran for 4 touchdowns and 211 yards on 30 carries. Okay? So, the bottom line was Michigan couldn't stop the run and Justin Fields was dropping dimes. Again, these are two super talented players. When they meet up with our defense, I think it was like number 9 or 10 at that point, or maybe number 6. It was pretty good still, but it was still overrated. And I do have to take into account, though, that was and still is, and this year, going to be like one of the best teams in the country. But come on, you can't let them put 56 up on you. Especially when the worst thing was when Justin got hurt for like a second, and then he came back in the game, and then I think he dropped like a 50-yard dime to Olave in the end zone. I think so. I don't know. It might have not been Olave, but he dropped a dime to someone. It was like 3rd and 9. And then, so like basically, like I said, the talent gap, and people hate when other people mention the talent gap, but come on, listen. If we had Spate instead of O'Korn in 2017 Ohio State game, Michigan wins. That's a talent gap. One player is not as talented as the other, so he does not perform as well. That's what it is. That's basically what it is. Ohio State has more talented players. They have better offense. It's faster. It's more agilic. It gels better. That's what I meant to say. It's better gelling, and it just gets the job done against Michigan. It doesn't matter at home or away. Okay, so that was the overview of Don Brown's defense against Ohio State. And to be honest, he's a good coach, but this defense is on and off in big games over the past years. It's just like 2016, 2017. He was pretty good. It was decent. They only allowed like 30 points. And then something happened in 2018 and 2019. Ohio State just figured out Michigan's defense, or we just didn't have good enough players like the 2016 defense. All right, so let's move on to the 2020 depth chart. So this is going to be a good defense. I was predicting this to be one of the best defenses Michigan has had under Harbaugh, and I think it will be. So starting at strong side defensive end and weak side defensive end is arguably the best defensive end duo in the country in Kwity Paye and Aiden Hutchinson. With a combined 118 tackles, 23 for a loss, 11 sacks, 6 pass breakups, 7 QB hurries, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. Both are quick and great at pressuring the QB. Finishing out the line is former 5-star Chris Hinton from Alabama, who got a decent amount of minutes last year as a freshman, but didn't play as much as I thought he should leading up to the Ohio State game, and Carlo Kemp at nose tackle. Starting at Viper this year is Mike Barrett, a first-time starter looking to cement his place after the departure of Khaleke Hudson. Josh Ross returning from an injury and pairing up with Cameron McGrone, which will be a sweet duo to watch. McGrone had 38 solo tackles, 4 sacks, a forced fumble, and is said to be kind of like a clone, basically, of Devin Bush. Like they're really similar in their play. And then with the departure of Ambry Thomas, who was said to be posed for a breakout season, which I love. I loved Ambry Thomas. Freshman DJ Turner was thrust into the number 2 corner, and Vincent Gray will have to step up into the 1 spot. So basically, with him and Nico Collins, both can come back, but it's not likely. Ambry Thomas wants to leave, Nico wants to leave. They haven't really said anything on it. They kind of spoke with Gaddis. Gaddis hasn't said anything besides that it's their decision. So we'll see. But I think we're solid. I think DJ Turner will prove himself, and Ambry Thomas will step up. Going out to the safety spot is senior Brad Hawkins returning, and former 5-star explosive safety Daxton Hill. Hill was said to be getting reps at the corner spot too, so it's kind of like I don't know who will start at strong side safety if Hill goes to corner. That would be interesting. Might have to be one of the incoming recruits for the 2020 class, my bad. So, with such a stacked defense, Don Brown has to put together the right scheme. That's going to be key. And although the offense does need to put up more points against Ohio State, and it's going to be nice with the departure of Shea Patterson, who in 2019 was just, let's face it, he was just bad. He was not a good quarterback. I don't know how to defend him against Middle Tennessee State. Apparently, he kind of nicked his tailbone or something, so that's why he didn't run for the rest of the season. Or on RPOs, he just always handed it off to the running back. I don't understand. And with Milton, it will be fun to see. We'll probably put up at least 14 more points against Ohio State than last year, I'm going to say. No, how much did we put up against? 28? Yeah, I think last year if we had Milton at quarterback, we would at least put up 14 more points. But, you got to get it done. You got to at least keep them to 35. If not 30, 35. But with this offense, I'll make an exception because it's such a high-powered offense. And that's basically the roster. And then thoughts on the defense against Ohio State. I like that they're bringing in Brian Jean-Mary, and I like that they're bringing in Bob Shoop. That's sweet because I think they'll really help with the scheme. I think they'll be able to make connections that Don Brown won't. They'll be able to switch it up when Don Brown can or is too stubborn. I don't know. I think it's for the better that those two are in control of the defense more, and I think it's good that they brought on someone else because at the end of the season I was calling for Don Brown's firing, but I know they're not going to do that because he's been too good. Kind of. It's iffy, but Michigan's not one to just fire a coach quickly. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the Victors podcast. As always, go blue.